Mojang updated their list of ideas they'll never add to the game, so I've added in all of them. And today we'll look at the new blocks, mobs, items, and even biomes that Mojang won't let you have. Number 1. When you're digging underground and it's taking a while, it would be great if there were an easier way, like using a mining robot. However, Mojang said these would work better as a mod and not a vanilla feature. So no cute robots, but what about just automatic quarries, so you don't have to do as much digging? Mojang's designers confirmed they don't like things being fully automated, even though we can already make automatic sorting systems with hoppers and fully AFK mob farms. Number 2. Using a dispenser to defend your base from mobs is a little weak, so what about a proper turret? Place it down and it could angle itself at monsters and fire arrows right at them. Mojang banned them from being in the game, but they almost got added. The original idea for the Ravager had a ballista on top, which is a giant crossbow. Eventually this became a tiny item and they rejected the turret idea. Number 3. Another idea that was almost added and then permanently removed is the stone chest. You'd find these in ancient cities, where you've got to slowly slide the lid off without awakening the warden. These would make for a cool new chest design, possibly with more space, but Mojang won't be adding anything like that. The same update also almost included glowing skulk, with bright lime and turquoise colours. There was even concept art for a glowing warden. It was likely a bit too bright for the deep dark. Number 4. You'll never find mushrooms that glow in Minecraft either. Mojang said they won't add this new variant because it's too overdone in games. Plus, a mushroom that glows isn't enough of a unique twist for them. What if there were a whole underground biome with big and small mushrooms you can use to make potions that give the glowing effect? That's a pretty unique way to add this unobtainable effect to survival, but that way won't be added. Number 5. Speaking of biomes, what if Minecraft had a volcano biome? Giant mountains with lava spilling out from the peaks, and from time to time, the volcanoes could erupt. While that could be a fun challenge, it would be infuriating if you've just finished building your new mansion and an eruption burns it all away. So you can see why Mojang won't be adding them. For the same reason, there won't be tornadoes that pick up mobs and blocks in their paths. They can't add unpreventable events that destroy your work. My diamond blocks! Number 6. And to prevent those disasters, spell casting could be used. It seems like a natural progression from enchantments, but developer Jeb stated that he's been avoiding adding magic spells for parity reasons. He said he might add wizards to go with witches, as they fit the rule that all hostile mobs must be fantasy creatures, but he won't give players the ability to conjure things up. Fireball shooting won't be added to survival either, because the ghast can already do that. Number 7. Making a working factory in vanilla is possible with farms, no magic required, but you always have to manually craft the output. The auto crafting table would solve all those problems and more, if Mojang hadn't rejected it. When Dinnerbone was shown this idea in 2014, he said, "I don't think that suits vanilla," probably for the same reason as the robot, but if that's the case, then why is it in the under review section on the official feedback site? Make your mind up, Mojang. Number 8. A piston can't push more than 12 blocks. This makes it pretty hard to construct nice looking flying machines. Surely over 10 years later, Mojang have the ability to increase the limit. They changed the build height limit, freshening up the gameplay quite a bit, so piston limits increasing would be a logical next step. However, the current limitations are by design, so pistons are going to stay the same. Number 9. Another odd limitation is that there's no voice chat built into a game where communication is key, and you're going to need to keep using Discord because Mojang won't be adding voice chat. Being built into the game, you could have proximity chat or team chats. There are mods, but it would be safer if it were built in, and Mojang love their chat safety. But hey, at least you don't have to put up with that guy.
Hey guys, I got a new mod to do.
Number 10. You'll also be happy Mojang rejected this idea. When it starts to rain, torches could lose brightness or even burn out. Having to reignite these things over and over again would be such a pain, but more reason to use glowstone or sea lanterns. This feature was in an April Fool's update, and it was genuinely considered 12 years ago, but luckily Mojang came to their senses and it won't ever be in the game. Number 11. When a fan pitched their idea for coloured portals to Jeb, he bluntly explained, "We are not planning to add that." And then 2 months later, for April Fools, he added funky portals, which let you change the colour of the portal to whatever you like, leading you to infinite dimensions. Colour-coded portals would be to die for, but it was just an April Fool's prank. And Mojang will never let you make portals with crying obsidian either. Number 12. Another way to make Minecraft more colourful would be with amethyst. It has such a unique colour, it's a shame the only tool you can make with it looks like this. But as lovely as it would look, a new tier of tools and armour needs an exciting place in the progression, so amethyst will not be given this new use. Number 13. You'd also have a few more design options if lanterns could be attached to walls. Torches go on walls, so why not lanterns? The art director said this was a conscious design decision. They don't want to replace the iconic torch and want people to come up with creative solutions to this problem. So basically, use other blocks to make it look like that, because Mojang will never let you do it without. Number 14. Another idea Mojang rejected to sneakily force you to be creative is the crawling button. Crawling was an accidental feature added to fix a bug, where leaving water while swimming would get you stuck in a block. The swimming animation worked just fine, so there won't be a crawling animation. This one block rule had useful side effects, so they decided creative methods of crawling were more fun than pressing a button. Number 15. It's well known that vertical slabs will also never be added, to make you find creative ways around it. But what about microblocks? Imagine being able to carve out blocks. You could make your own pumpkin designs. You can make so much furniture. There will never be a way to get half of a slab or half of a half slab or any of that stuff. Minecraft's creator says just adding normal slabs was a big mistake. Number 16. So no small blocks, but when you're building something big, you might want a second pair of hands. What if no one's around to help? The villagers aren't doing much. Builder villagers could sell building materials or even offer their building services in exchange for a probably unfair price. They could even construct defenses during raids to help the battle. The official law from Mojang is that they don't want to build things or do anything but live and let live. They're pretty chill, no builders. Number 17. Speaking of raids, isn't it a bit weird that you can go to sleep and just continue the battle in the morning as if nothing happened? People have tried suggesting that sleeping should be disabled, but sleeping during raids is going to be left as is. It is odd that all mobs get frozen in time when you fall asleep. It would be cool if they got moved around when waking up. Number 18. Something to help you move around could be a car? Yeah, you can tell why Mojang won't add this. It's not unique enough and it's too modern. At least your tires won't get stuck in the mud. Number 19. When you imagine mud, the first color you think of is probably brown. A lot of people pointed this out when Minecraft mud was revealed. Mojang will never change it because the art director said the grey color makes it clear where the floor is in the mangrove swamp. Is that the reason? They also tried adding mud baths, but they decided mud should just be solid and not a liquid too, even though Minecraft Earth had mud liquid years before. Number 20. You can dye water in a cauldron in Bedrock Edition, but picking that up with a bucket doesn't give you colored liquid. Apparently it's too complicated for Mojang to add to the game. They'd have to code a whole new system for transferring those properties, and it wouldn't be able to show the color in your inventory. There won't be a real reason to drink regular water either because, number 21, thirst was discussed and then canned. The update that added the hunger bar is still known as one of Minecraft's most controversial updates ever, so adding another bar to manage would drive more players away. Mojang indicated that they prefer to focus on making hunger better rather than adding a whole new mechanic to add clutter to Minecraft. Number 22. Having loads of potions can really clutter up your inventory. You should be able to mix them into one bottle to take up a fraction of the space. Anvils combine enchantments, so cauldrons could combine effects. Mixed potions were suggested, prototyped, and then rejected. Their reason makes a lot of sense. Mixing two medicines in real life does not combine their effects. Cauldrons were originally added for brewing potions, which makes a lot more sense than a brewing stand. Number 23. Another mechanic that makes your inventory a mess is copper, with all 37 variants. That's why Mojang won't be adding a way to oxidize other blocks like iron, which could become rusty over time just like real life. They also won't add a way to speed up oxidization because it would make oxidized copper less valuable. It's valuable? Number 24. So you're in an ancient city looking for treasure and you've just angered the warden. You try and run away, but you're stuck. You've just walked over the skulk jaw block, which Mojang cut from the game. It would likely have used its teeth to trap you until you mine it away. Developer King Bee Dogs said he wasn't happy with the design, so it never got into the wild update, and we'll never see it again. Number 25. Speaking of the warden, Mojang confirmed they will never add any way for the warden to break blocks. Even though it digs out of the ground, it won't ever be able to destroy your defenses. Its sonic boom attack goes through walls anyway. Also, they'll never add a better drop for killing the warden, so you don't go trying to kill it. The real loot is the friends we made along the way, and the stuff in the chests. Number 26. After stripping wood with an axe, where does the bark go? It would make so much more sense if it dropped as an item that could be crafted into wooden armor to go with your wooden tools. Or it could be an alternate way to get paper. It is odd that you can't make paper from trees. Unfortunately, bark was suggested and rejected. No chance of getting an easier way to make charcoal either then. Number 27. When you put coal in a furnace, that fuel stays in there until it's used up. However, put lapis in an enchanting table and that fuel goes back into your inventory when you're done. Mojang say it should stay like that, as apparently it doesn't make sense that the lapis slot is shared while the weapon slot isn't. I think it doesn't make sense that fuel can't be stored in there. Number 28. And staying with the enchanting stuff, Mojang won't be removing the too expensive limit on anvils. This is because the anvil raises its prices to force you to eventually use a new weapon, not force you to use a mob grinder. Even if they did allow more enchantments, wouldn't make me any better at PvP. Number 29. Before PvP even existed in Minecraft's infdev phase, Mojang added a texture called fluff. It looks like a cloud block, and that's sort of what it was. The texture was applied to clouds to add a bit more variation to them. It would be so cool to mine clouds and get this block, though the developers clearly didn't like how it looked, so textured clouds and cloud blocks won't be coming back. Number 30. While Mojang love adding new mobs, there are 3 that we will never get. Those are the ones from Minecon Earth 2017, specifically the Wildfire, a tougher blaze, the Barnacle, which was planned for the update Aquatic, Aquatic, and the Great Hunger. Can't we swap phantoms for one of them? Mobs from the other votes are still up for grabs. Number 31. When you get hit by a mob in Minecraft, you lose hearts. So it could be more realistic if you left some blood behind. Mojang won't add bodily fluids like that for obvious reasons. That also means they'll never add pee to the game. I'm glad they're not adding a bladder bar anytime soon, and there are already enough kinds of logs in the game. Number 32. Has this ever happened to you? You've just finished building a pretty complex redstone system from a tutorial you found online, only to realize after all that hard work that this farm was for the other version of Minecraft. Mojang said they'll never fix this glaring difference because it would break a lot of contraptions people have already built. Number 33. Villages are all themed around their biome, but pillager outposts look identical no matter where they are. You could have desert pillagers, jungle pillagers, maybe even end pillagers. This was suggested, and the official response from Mojang was, pillagers don't care about biomes though. If that were true, they'd spawn in every biome. Number 34. Villagers got an overhaul in 1.14, but they still kinda look the same, and that won't be changing. According to Mojang's list, villagers are genderless. They are neither male nor female. And speaking of villagers, for number 35, Mojang won't ever add the ability to trade with nitwits. Many people suggested the idea, but Mojang say no because the lack of jobs was originally a bug that became a feature after players wanted to have villagers with no trades. Just looking out for these guys, times are tough for the village economy. Number 36. Maybe there could be a villager that sells cannons and cannonballs. This could be an item version of a TNT cannon, maybe even without the fuse type, letting you launch it instantly. Mojang's statement is that cannons are guns, and if it can be classified as a gun, it's also classified as a solid no. Number 37. Walking on soul sand with soul speed makes soul particles appear, but none come from soul fire. The art director said they were rejected as they'd limit soul fire to only being used in spooky themed builds, so they made it just blue fire instead. What happened to limitations being by design? Though there's evidence they considered soul lava, so watch this video here to find out about that and more blocks that were mysteriously removed.